We do have breaking news right now. Investigators are on the case after an officer-involved shooting in Kansas City, Kansas.
Let's go to Kmbc 9's Matt Evans live in KCK this morning. Matt, what are you hearing?
Well, Cody, we know no serious injuries involved in all of this. None of the officers involved were hurt, and also the person that they shot is expected to survive. We know police called last night about 11 o'clock to 25th and Oakland in Kansas City, Kansas on an armed disturbance. When they arrived there, a homeowner told them that a man was trying to break into a car in that block. That homeowner confronted the man, the suspect firing his gun into the air and then taking off on foot. Now, police tracked him down very quickly thanks to a very detailed suspect description. When they confronted that suspect, well, he pointed a gun at officers, and officers opened fire. That suspect taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries this morning. The Kansas City, Kansas Police Department, they've wrapped up their on-scene investigation this morning. However, it is now being investigated by the Kansas City, Kansas Major Case Unit. Live in KCK, Matt Evans, KMC 9 News.
All right, Matt, thanks for the update. We have a traffic alert this morning. I-35 northbound is finally back open before West Penway after a large semi-fire just snarled traffic for hours yesterday during the rush.
Yeah, this really delayed things. The fire broke out late yesterday afternoon in the northbound lanes of I-35 heading into that southwest corner of the downtown loop. Look at this. The smoke could be seen for miles.
Darren Tidd was behind the wheel of that truck when it burst into flames. He says he saw someone waving him down, trying to let you know, hey, your truck's on fire. That's when he pulled over and saw what happened.
Going to try and unhook my truck and save my truck, but it's too late.
That fire led to problems for people stuck in rush hour and for several drivers who had parked their cars beneath the bridge. You can see the burning debris fell and torched two cars.
That car and I had a personal relationship. I was going to get 300,000 miles on it.
I'm not going to park under a bridge ever again.
So far, still not clear what sparked that fire. We do know that engineers from MoDOT went out, examined the bridge, and ruled that it was safe to reopen the interstate.
We're learning new details this morning about that Aeromexico jetliner full of passengers that crashed just seconds after takeoff. Everyone on board luckily made it out alive before that plane just burst into flames. 49 of the 103 on board did have to be taken to the hospital. Mexico officials say that the crash was caused by a huge gust of wind that hit the plane during takeoff. This morning, the airline says the aircraft was, quote, perfectly maintained and had been serviced in February. Closer to home, 2 people are recovering after a plane crash in eastern Jackson County. It happened just after takeoff on Tuesday from Martin's Airfield off of Blue Valley Road, right outside of Arton. News Chopper 9 was over the cornfield where that plane crashed. You see it there. The 2 people on board have minor injuries. The FAA is investigating.
We have a safety alert from pilots in the metro, and it comes in the way of a warning, or more of a plea. Don't shine laser lights in their faces while they're flying. This is happening 6 times last month at KCI, a dozen times there this year so far, 11 times on planes coming in and out of the downtown airport. It's dangerous because, well, it's a laser, and it can temporarily blind a pilot if the beam hits him just right.
These are not toys. There may be a purpose of using them for stargazing or something, but do not aim it toward an aircraft because it can temporarily blind that pilot.
It's also against federal law, so you could go to prison for 5 years and also pay a $250,000 fine. So maybe just don't do it.
Yeah, just don't do that. Now to Commitment 2018 coverage, and the Kansas GOP race for governor. Chris Kobach's running mate says his $1.5 million in loans to the campaign are an investment.
So campaign records show that Wink Hartman, a wealthy Wichita businessman, has made 20 loans since joining the ticket. The largest was $533,000 made last month. And through the campaign, Hartman released a statement saying, as a businessman, I know how important it is to invest in great leadership. Campaign finance records also show independent candidate Greg Orman has loaned his campaign some $650,000.
An update on the ongoing investigation into election security. Facebook says it has removed 32 fake pages and accounts from its platforms that may have been linked to Russia. The social media giant says the accounts were aimed to mislead and divide Americans. 290,000 people or organizations followed those pages.
It's clear that whoever set up these accounts went to much greater lengths to obscure their true identities than the Russian-based Internet Research Agency, IRA, did in the run-up to the 2016 U.S. presidential election.
The Department of Homeland Security says the creation of the National Risk Management Center will defend elections against cyber attacks.
6:06 right now. President Trump is back at the White House after a rally last night in Florida, and he's getting some attention for some comments he made about voter ID laws. Let's go to Nicole Killian in Washington with some of the highlights.
Cody, President Trump was trying to make an argument for stricter voting laws, but then he falsely claimed that you need identification when you go grocery shopping.
You know, if you go out and you want to buy groceries, you need a picture on a card. You need ID. You go out and you want to buy anything, you need ID and you need your picture.
The president made the comments while stumping for a pair of Florida Republicans in Tampa, but his remarks instantly sparked criticism on Twitter. The president also railed against the idea of non-citizens voting, saying only Americans should vote in elections. So far, no response from the White House to the president's claim or when he last bought groceries. In Washington, Nicole Killian, KMBC 9 News.
All right, Nicole, thanks. President is expected to continue to hit the campaign trail this week. He has stops in Pennsylvania and Ohio coming up in a few days. Meanwhile, a federal judge in Seattle has issued a temporary restraining order to stop the release of these controversial blueprints to make 3D printed plastic guns. A Texas company wanted to release those blueprints for download today. Restraining order puts the plan on hold for now. Trump administration says the president supports a current law that makes it illegal to own or make an undetectable homemade gun.
6:07 right now in the First Alert Weather Center with Nick, and we've been really fortunate to have some awesome weather recently.
We have. It's been on the cooler side.
Yeah.
We even got some rain, a little bit of rain yesterday. Summer's back. You know, it's coming in a big way for the weekend. I think we're going to have feel-like temperatures up in the mid-90s, so you're going to notice that today with the temperature close to 90 degrees. The humidity is going to stay manageable for today. 86 degrees at 5 o'clock this afternoon. This is what happens as we increase the temperature and we increase the dew point temperature, which is to say the moisture. You get heat index values that are above the temperature. So 93 on Friday, 92 on Saturday, and then we start to get in the mid and upper 90s by the end of the weekend. This unfortunately continues into next week with not many opportunities for rain. I'll show you the one day that I think we could get some showers in here that's coming up. Let's go to News Chopper 9's Johnny Rollins.
Hey, Nick, we're looking pretty good on the highways to get this Wednesday started off, getting you to work, and so far so good here on I-29 in spite of the fact we have a stalled car. Looks like it's kind of close to that far right lane, but this is going to be southbound I-29 between 635 and I-35 near Wacomas, actually between that and 169 highway. That would be 635 and 169. Not a factor. Looks like everything is fine so far with very light traffic through there. Johnny Rollins, News Chopper 9. Cody, back to you in the studio.
Thank you, sir. 6:08, we have a crime alert out of Bonner Springs. Someone tried to steal money from a car wash. Show you these surveillance photos. This happened at the Porter Buggy Bath. Suspect, we're told, used a crowbar to pry open several coin machines, but he went away empty-handed. They were empty. Man drove off in a silver Ford Taurus. If you can help, call police.
We're also following a health alert this morning. The Kansas Department of Health confirms 2 cases of West Nile virus in Johnson County, Kansas. These are the first cases reported in the entire state. West Nile is, of course, spread by mosquito bites. There's a high risk warning in the northwest region of Kansas and the 3 other regions you see on your screen. Southeast and northeast Kansas fall under moderate risks.
A new agreement comes with new rules for those scooters from the company Bird you might have seen around town. City of Kansas City, Missouri is allowing Bird to have up to 500 of those scooters. Riders should follow the same rules as anyone on a bicycle. Use the street and bike lanes. Don't ride on the sidewalk, and helmets are encouraged. Now, when parking, the scooters should be left out of the way. Bird, by the way, also has to pay a $500 registration fee along with $1 per scooter for every day they're in use.
6:10 right now, and those deadly wildfires to our west continue to burn, taking out hundreds of buildings in its path.
People are dead because of this, too. We'll update you on the destruction and the mission to put these fires out.
Plus, back at home, one man sets out to bring golf to the inner city. How he's making those dreams come true.